Check this.
Alright, boys. Welcome back to your favorite Pizza Devils podcast ever. And the one and only. So, it's your boy Michael, as the host as always. And yet again, I've managed to scrape the bottom of the barrel here and grabbed another person. And his name is Xavier. What's up, dude?
I'm the worst of the worst. You can't find any worse.
That's right. He's something special about this boy, too. He's a driver instead of just an insider, so he gets to experience
the outside world.
The outside world of the store where I'm locked for hours on end. He gets to see really bad stuff. This poor guy, the stuff he's seen, he'll never be able to forget. Right?
I seen a dude's bare ass once.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
He doesn't get paid enough for this.
No.
We should start a GoFundMe page actually for Xavier. Emotional therapy. He has to pay for that. It's too expensive, man. He has so much he has to go through for therapy. It's a poor guy.
I see it when I close my eyes.
He likes to sleep a lot too. It's awful.
That's why I sleep a lot. I like what I see.
Oh no.
It was a nice bare man ass.
Oh god.
He had like the right amount of hair too.
The right amount of hair.
Yeah, it's not too hairy, not like, you know.
No.
Right, just right.
That's awful.
Okay.
Well, that was unplanned and unscripted. All right, buddy.
Sorry, I didn't know you'd do that.
We don't script things. It was just for fun. No, this is a place where we vent, and I let people in the comments tell me their story, which no one has because it's not popular at all. But you know what? It's okay. It's
Keep
my
the
personal
option out there.
The option's always out there. We don't silence people's opinions. But I want some real stories, though. It'd be cooler if it was a real story. Give me some, and maybe we'll have it featured here on the official channel where we started the trend that doesn't exist yet of venting our stupid work stories. Because no one does that. It's a cool idea. Come on by and give me some ideas. Okay, so you have a story? Or do you want me to put my newest of the stories?
You lead.
I'll lead. I'll give him some time to think. Alright. A little bit ago, I had this person on the phone. Must have been delusional. Must have been retarded. I'm not quite sure. It was a call from the hospital. It was some random lady. It didn't seem like it was a patient or whatever. But they were asking me a bunch of stuff. It seemed to go pretty normal until they started asking for stuff that doesn't exist. At least in our place. They're like, so yeah, can I get some mozzarella sticks? And I'm like, we don't have that. I should mention, though, the only thing we have at our store is subs, salads, pizzas, and wings. That's the only things you have to get to pick from. This person listed off everything but those things after they got a couple pizzas. They asked for that. I said, no. They're like, okay, so can I get a little side of french fries for my kid? I'm like, no, your kid can't get any french fries. We don't have that. And she's like, oh, can I get some onion rings? I'm like, no. And she's like, but you just said you did. And I was like, listen, I did not say a damn thing about that. And someone in the background I heard go, yeah, he said that. And I was like, listen, I'm about to beat you both to death. Good thing you're already at a hospital. And at the very end, I was repeating everything the order just to make sure it's right because I didn't want these people calling back saying something was wrong because I didn't want to deal with them no more. And then they're like, oh yeah, and then after I was done, they're like, is that right? They're like, yeah, and the side of mac and cheese. I'm like, bitch, listen, we do not have mac and cheese. I'm gonna slap you. And she's like, okay, whatever. And it was over then. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. It was a 20-minute phone call going back and forth with this person. I won't let you know. It was the dumbest thing. And the best thing ever happened after that is they didn't call back. I was so happy they didn't call back. I'm like, I didn't get my mac and cheese. And I was about to be like, bitch, there is no mac and cheese at Marco's Pizza. It's called pizza, not mac and cheese. God damn it. Don't call again. As far as I'm concerned, they never called back. So I'm so happy for that.
You got the order right?
Mm-hmm.
Despite not having the mac and cheese?
Despite no mac and cheese. You got one, your boy?
Yeah. I had some dude, he almost wanted to fight me one time. It was a $92 order.
Damn.
So it was a lot of food. Me, being the genius I am, forgot both the salads.
Oh.
and he lived all the way down, 8, 9, 10-minute drive one way.
Oh.
Oof. He paid cash. So he had me walk it into his kitchen, like to the island, and I said, sure, I'll do that, whatever, maybe get a bigger tip. It's a gentleman thing to do. I'll help you out. I get there and I'm like, oh, the salads. So I told him, I said straight up, hey, I forgot your salads. I have to go back to the store and get them. And he said, okay, well, like, I'm not going to pay you till you get back. And I'm like, yeah, about that, bud. I kind of need you to pay me.
Or I can't leave the food.
Yeah, I can't leave you with $80 worth of food here. Because I deducted what the salads were. So I was like, I'm not saying I'm leaving him here with $92 worth of food because there's 2 salads missing. So it's only like $80 in food. I'm like, I can't let you off with this. And he's like, I need you to explain that a little bit more clearly for me there.
Oh.
I'm like, oof. He's getting mad. Like, he was getting heated. He was like getting in his little position and everything.
Oh, no.
I'm like, dude's going to punch me. But he paid me, and he still tipped me afterwards. And then I went back to the shop, got the salads, came back, and luckily his wife took it this time. So I didn't get yelled at. I felt really bad. That was like probably one of my biggest fuck-ups.
Get your ass beat over a couple of salads from Marco's Pizza. Some shitty salads.
I was scared. I was like, I'm going to get in a fight with this dude. Luckily, he didn't punch me in the face.
That's good. Although it would have made for a better story, but no. You just had to get away with it.
I had the one, unless you got one. I had one. It's when I worked for East of Chicago back home. I worked in my hometown. The scene is, there's a 2-lane road going this way, east and west.
It's a podcast. You can't use hand
Well,
demonstrations.
I'm like using high hand while I talk.
Fine.
So it's an intersection. There's a 2-lane road going east and west, and then coming from the south was 2 lanes, but coming from the north was 3 lanes. So only one side had a left turning lane.
Yeah.
Well, there was no turning light. It just turned green, and you had to wait for oncoming traffic.
Yeah.
It was rush hour, so I didn't have enough time to, you have to let the line of people go, and then you can make the left.
Yeah.
You know how driving works. I'm sure the listeners know how driving works. The guy behind me didn't understand that. So he starts honking at me. And I'm like...
I can't go anywhere.
I'm like... I looked in the mirror, and at first I did this. And he starts laying on the horn even more. So I just stuck my middle finger up, and I flipped him off through the back window. So he started doing a burnout. I found an opening. I went. He burned out all the way through the intersection, riding my bumper. And the pizza place was in a...
plaza.
Like a little plaza right there off the corner.
Yeah.
So he followed me all the way up the street, riding my bumper. Pulled in, he jumped, like, I followed the road, because you had to pull in, make a right, and then go up a lane. This dude just cut straight across the parking lot. Parked right in front of the store. And I went around him and parked, and I ran in. I made it behind the counter by the time we got to the door. Nice. And he started yelling all this crap. He said, I'm going to beat your faggot driver's ass. I'm going to punch him in his stupid face. Yelling all this stuff in front of the entire staff. And I was like, what? So he left, and then about 20 minutes later, we got a call from him on an anonymous, star 67 line. And he said, I'm going to order a pizza, and when your fucking driver gets here, I'm going to punch his lights out. We shut down deliveries for the rest of the night. Because my boss didn't want to deal with that problem. So she called the police. I was like, why? They're not going to do anything. So you know what they did? They yelled at me for flipping him off in the first place.
You didn't have to say it. You didn't have to tell him that's what happened.
Yeah.
You could have just said, I don't know what happened, man. He just started chasing. You didn't have to say
I know. Because the cop's like, what happened? And I'm like, well, I flipped him off. And he's like, well, don't do that. And I'm
like, don't do that. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best idea was don't do that.
Yeah, but, at the time I was like, hey, why are you honking at me?
That's true. Just gotta give it to him, Gotta, give him, 1, 2.
He was just an angry construction worker. He was one of those types.
Jeez.
His little white pickup truck. He was mad.
Poor guy.
Veins in his forehead, red in the face.
Oh, jeez. You should have just, punched him.
I would have died. He was like a grown man. I was a little 19-year-old kid.
Little baby you running around, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Starting fights with adults.
So I learned that lesson. So I carry that with me, and now I don't flip anybody off, no matter how dumb they are. I just don't do it, because you will create road rage.
I do it because I have the fear fact that is I will beat their ass.
You can do that though.
I know. Trained for too many years doing that shit.
Me, on the other hand, they're gonna be like, "Let's fight," and I'll be like,
Scrawny boy over here.
"All right, put him up. Let's
Sticks
go."
and bones over here, huh?
Yeah.
Gonna get his ass kicked. That's okay. It's okay, man. It happens. Sometimes.
Sometimes people need a good ass whooping.
Sometimes. You just can't give one of those, you know?
You can though.
You can. You need to.
Sometimes it's necessary.
Oh, man. The amount of times I've tried to give people street balls. They didn't like that.
You say street balls?
Brawls.
Oh, street brawls.
Brawls.
I was like, give them street balls. What is that?
I love how I watch it. I remember one time going to work. It wasn't even at work yet. I'm like, it was just pretty normal. And I was going just normal down the fast lane of the main road. Then some lady cuts over 3 lanes of traffic to get to the turn lane to get into the highway. Right in front of me, barely misses me, and I honk. And she sticks her hand out of the window and does like a weird hand wrist trip. Not like she wasn't like flipping off. She's like doing a weird sassy retarded bitch thingy. And her like 12-year-old son is on the side as I go by, and I flip him off because I'm a person. And I was like, I didn't want to do too much. I was like, just flip them off so they know they're an idiot. And the kid's like, why don't you learn how to drive? And I was like, okay. I was like, you almost nailed me in the fucking front of my car. How do you mean it's my fault that it is? And I started yelling at him. And eventually I got out of the car and someone behind me started honking like that was going to do something. So I looked at him and I flipped him off. And he was like, what? And I was like, you're not part of this. And I go up to the window and I was like, get out of the car right now and I'll break your scrawny ass. Dude, he was the skinniest kid I've ever seen. Like, it was just, I thought he was made out of popsicle sticks. And I have this little kid. I was like, what you gonna do? And he just like stood there, and as soon as I started like getting real close, he started like cowering back in his car because he was like halfway out of his car with like his waist on the windowsill. I was like, what are you doing? Like hanging out your head like a dog or something. And then I was like, I'm a pretty stupid person. I used to keep a gun in the car, kind of. And I was like, you want to see a gun? And after that, his mom got scared. And so he's like, you just go now. And he was still having a fight over there. He must have had something wrong with his head. I don't know. And she started realizing that I wasn't fucking around. I will throw him over the bridge onto the highway. But pulling out that, I was like, you want to see a gun, motherfucker? And she was like, oh, no, just go. You don't need to worry about it. I was like, don't do that shit again. And he was still screaming stuff at me. And I was like, what you gonna do? And they had a broken ass taillight on the one side. I was tempted to go over and smash their other one. So now I carry a police baton in my car. Actually, it's a flashlight, but it's as long as a police baton.
Basically,
you can't tell me because you can't have bats in a car. It's illegal unless you're going to actual baseball practice. Did you know that?
Did not know.
Yeah, you can't have that in there. So you can't tell me I can't have a flashlight in my car. So that's a legal loophole. Man, driving around, had somebody in a diesel come up next to me, and they had the dual tailpipes sticking out the back that were like right next to each other, and they were like oversized, of course, because it's a classic retarded thing to do. Of course, it's a retarded Dodge owner, of course. And he must have like had a paddle or whatever, or he downshifted it and poured rolled coal into the side in my car, and I was like, I just cleaned this bitch. I had a breakdown. I was like, I want to go beat his ass. I wanted to just smash his taillight, and that was the end. Just do a quick U-turn and go, because he wouldn't catch up to me. His fat ass truck, which is like lifting a piece of shit.
No, you'd be gone.
I would have just smashed it and went down a side road, hammered it, gone. Never would have caught me, and I would like, that's what you get for rolling coal inside my fucking car. I didn't. I ended up throwing something at his back of his car, and then I dipped. But I don't know. I was like, man, I should have just smashed his taillight. I was like, it would have been so much more fun.
Just pull up next to him and hit it while you're driving?
Yeah. I was just going up to the back, hey, want to see a joke? Just, flashlight, bitch. And just smashed his fucking taillight. He had custom taillights, too. So I was like, those must be worth a penny. Because custom taillights can be like a couple $100.
Yeah,
and I was like, it was like a new truck, too, lifted and retarded. And I was like, it looked stupid the way it had a really weird blue, tan color pattern on it. Didn't look good. I was like, oh, I should just smash your pretty little taillights now. I regret that. I would have had a fun time. He did it to like 3 people because there were 3 people in front of me. We're just chilling, and he did it to 3 people. I was like, I should just be the guy hero here and just smash his taillight. Because I'm the person that has no balls and will do it. But I didn't. I was like, fine. I couldn't see, actually. The thing is, someone was turning in front of me. What really made me mad is it was 3 people like in front of us, and the one guy was turning onto a street, and he was slowing down. And he rolled coal right in front of me, as they were slowing down, I couldn't see how fast they were like slowing down or whatever. So I had to slam the brakes because I was afraid I was gonna like rear end somebody. That's what really made me mad. As I was about to kill, like I could have totaled the car or something. Like I couldn't tell because he just did that like on purpose. And I was like, you're an absolute dickhead. Like there's 3 people just blinded while trying to slow down, so we have no idea distance wise in front of each other. And I was like, wow, that's a really dick move to do. Like we didn't do anything. You just did that on purpose.
They should make that illegal.
It is a illegal roll call, I'm sure.
Is
it's
it?
pollution. It's excessive
yeah.
pollution. It's literally just rolling pure smoke for no reason. And it only happens if you downshift. That's only if you go to super high RPMs and diesels. Like you don't need to ever go into high RPMs and diesels because the power band is like super low. So you're not supposed to like even go past 4,000 in a diesel. But that guy was clearly hitting 6,000 or something and just being a dick. I was like, that's unnecessary. Oh man, if I was a cop, man, the fun I would have.
Just pulling over all the idiots.
Oh my god, I would have so much fun every time someone cuts over in front of like a solid line, just because they're retarded and they couldn't get over until last second. I'd be like, oh man, that seems like a ticket, almost killing somebody, man. And I'd be like, oh man, I remember you did this to me a while ago. Your turn, bitch.
I see so many bad drivers driving around.
Oh my god, if I was a cop, man, we could just take care of all of them. We could take care of all of them. There's never a cop when you need them. They just don't know where the things happen.
I saw a guy today, Main Street, like busy intersection. There's always people there at rush hour. Guy stops at a red light.
Yeah.
Sits there for a second and then just goes. Middle of the day. Who does that?
That's like you're asking to be T-boned.
Yeah.
And die. Like,
I mean, he must have like triple checked or whatever, but like, why?
That's not worth it. It's kind of funny that other people will be able to like run a red light like that and nothing will happen, but like the time you'll do it at like 2 a.m.
you get caught.
Yeah, 2 a.m. Not a car, not a single pair of headlights. And the second you go, that's when the cop will be there. But everybody else could be rush hour and you could just drive right through and nothing will happen to them. It's always you. That's what it happens to be. The good drivers, that's what happens to. But the retards that are like, we don't know.
Yeah, they get away with everything.
Yeah, it's like it's like if you don't even know you're breaking the law, you can get away with it. But if you know, like you're gonna get caught. That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
The stupid people don't know shit, and they're like, yeah, okay, and they'll get away. But I have to tell you, it's like as soon as you know, you're gonna get caught for it. It's the dumbest shit. I'm like, oh, why?
That's why a lot of times I'm just honest with them when they pull me over. Like, why are you in a hurry? You got me. I'm just speeding to speed.
I'm just doing it for fun. Ugh, that's fun shit. It happens.
Yeah.
Man, you be careful though. Some cops are not fun to deal with.
Nope. I don't want to find those ones.
You've been lucky your entire life, huh?
Not my entire life. I've gotten caught doing a couple dumb things. I got a reckless hop back in 2015.
Nice.
I was doing donuts in a parking lot in my Cougar.
Empty parking lot?
No, there was a guy working on his piece of shit Cavalier. He was like under the hood, laying under the car while we were doing it. I think he was the one who called the cops.
Do you?
I was like, come on, dude.
Why?
Just fix your car and fuck off.
That's true. It's like, why would you care? I don't know, man. I think that stuff's cool.
But I was trying to be slick. Like, the car was covered in dirt because it was like a gravel parking lot.
Oh.
So I was trying to be slick. Cop pulled in as we were leaving the park. It was a like city park too.
Oh, really?
So I was pulling out. He was right here, writing down my plate. He's like, I got a call. Somebody was doing donuts back here. Did you guys see anything? And I said, nope. I didn't see anybody doing donuts.
And they just like, okay.
The car's just completely covered in dust and shit. So I went home.
There's no way they would thought your car was though, because I remember that thing was just like beaten.
They wrote down my plate and they were at my house 45 minutes later.
Oh, really?
Yep. And the guy's like, so what's your buddy's name? And they were like, you can tell us what your friend's name is, because I was doing it with a friend. He was in his dad's truck. It was a 07 Tacoma, 4x4. They said, you can tell us who your friend is, or we can impound your car and play hardball. What do you want to do? And I'm like, do I really have to tell you his name? Because I didn't want to rat on my buddy.
You shouldn't.
You know what I mean?
Did
but
you?
They're like, the story thickens.
Oh, no.
They went to his house first.
What?
They asked him the same thing, and he threw me under the bus immediately. And I was like, I at least put up a fight. You know what I mean? I was like,
really?
Do I have to? And then that's when he was like, yeah, we'll impound your car.
Well, I don't know if they
sat there
can
and
do
I
that.
thought for a second.
They shouldn't be able to do that.
I was like 16. I didn't know.
I don't think they'll be able to do that. I think they're just trying to scare
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's what I thought too, looking back on it. But at the time, I was a scared little 16-year-old. I'm like, I don't want my car impounded.
Yeah, I think that was just bullshit. There's no way they can just... Because they didn't know if it was like you that did it. Or did they?
They had to have, because we were the only people
Well,
in the park.
how'd they go to him? Like, how'd they know? Because his truck was there too? Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
he was behind me, so they wrote down both our plates.
Oh man, that's bogue.
Yeah.
What happened though? They give you like anything?
Yes, which was more fun.
They give you a ticket for that one?
No ticket.
What?
They put me into a diversion program. You pay $80, go on a Saturday morning. You sit through an hour and a half of scare tactic. They just show you like dramatizations of like car accidents.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
High schoolers talking about, you know, their friends that died and stuff like that. Real sad videos, you know, don't get me wrong. But then after that, they had these, I think they were Chevy Cruzes.
Yeah.
Like police cars.
Yeah.
And we took them out into the parking lot and just completely thrashed on them. They said floor it, get up to 60 in a school parking lot. Like floor it, pedal on the floor, get up to 60, and then hit the brakes as hard as you can.
Why?
To teach us how like ABS works. So I ended up in the class with the same friend I was doing donuts with. So we were laughing the entire time. The cops were pissed. The other two kids that were there for speeding tickets.
You were
So
there for doing
I was
donuts.
there for doing donuts in a parking lot. The cop kind of looked at us weird because he went down the line. He's like, "All right, what are you here for?" I'm like, "I was doing donuts in the parking lot." And then he went to my buddy. He's like, "I was with him. We were both doing it." And the cops were like, "Yeah."
Weird.
So
That's kind of
another test was, it's like maneuverability, but like on a bigger scale.
Okay.
So there's a middle lane with cones, and then a left and a right lane. You get up to 45, and then you have to go zoop, zoop.
Yeah, yeah.
Do a quick lane change.
Yeah, that's what they do for motorcycle tests now.
Really?
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So you had to do that in these cop cars. And then there was another test, but I don't remember what it was. There were 3 different things they had you do, but it was all just like fun. They're like, "Here, beat on this car for an hour and a half." And we're like, "Yeah."
This is fun.
Yeah. So I didn't learn my lesson. I just got out of doing donuts in a parking lot for free.
Well,
it was $80.
Yeah.
But like, I'll take $80 over, you know, a reckless op, which is like 2 points on your license.
How much is it? I got a 4, you lose it? Or is it 3?
I think it's 6.
6? 6 points? I don't remember what
We
it
should
is.
find that out.
How many points? You probably look it up faster than I can.
How many points to lose your license in Ohio?
Yeah, it's probably different in each state. Who knows what it is? Just curious. What?
12 points within 2 years.
Does it reset after 2 years, or is it
Yeah.
you lose a point? All of them? Every 2 years it resets? It's not.
Well, I don't know about that.
Or is it like a one-time redo? It's probably a one-time redo. Then you have to go get it retested. Because I know if you lose your license, you have to go back to temps and then actually do everything. So you have to redo everything back from like
Damn.
0.
All right, so if you're driving 30 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, you'll be assessed 4 points.
Okay.
And you may get your license suspended.
For like a month or 2. Damn.
If you're going more than 10 miles an hour over the speed limit in a 55 zone or higher, you'll be assessed 2 points.
But it's like if you're really going 10 over in like a residential, it's probably like a lot more because it's like a kid's, or it's like a slow area. So on the slow roads, you really don't want to. Okay. Interesting. We don't condone speeding, by the way. Okay.
Only in Mexico.
Why? Because
it's Mexico, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. I guess. Yeah. So don't do that unless you're in Mexico. That's what we condone. I guess we have to say that for legal warning. Talking about doing stupid shit. Yeah, we don't recommend doing donuts in a parking lot either.
No, that's dumb high school me. So if you get the 12 points within 2 years from the first conviction, your driver's license will be suspended for 6 months.
Just for 6 months? That seems like a lot. Like you have to get that's a lot to get like 12 points.
Yeah,
you
you really gotta suck at driving.
Dude, you gotta like really like get. You gotta like really speed 30 over like a couple. Dude, you think like what? You did the speed 30 over like what? Like 4 or 5 times to lose it? Something like that? That's insane. Like, man, there's a lot of stuff you could get before
I'm trying
you
to see
get like really destroyed.
like examples of what the point system is.
I don't know, man. It seems like it's like
Okay, here we go. You can get 6 points.
for what? Drunk driving?
You know, just the usual stuff: drag racing, vehicular homicide,
That's a different list.
driving with a suspended or invalid license. No, these are the 6 pointers: vehicular homicide, manslaughter, or assault, along with drag racing, driving with a suspended license, Operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol or drugs.
Okay.
Failure to stop at the scene of an accident, which is a hit and run.
Well, that makes sense.
Fleeing or eluding law enforcement officer.
That's only 6?
Yeah.
That's only 6.
You can do that twice.
Twice.
Once a year.
You can do that once a year and you'll be fine.
You're fine.
That's weird.
Operating a motor vehicle without the owner's consent.
So stealing a vehicle. Yeah, so stealing a vehicle.
Yeah, that's fancy talk for your car got stolen.
Yeah, for stealing a vehicle.
Using a motor vehicle in commission of any felony. So like if you're robbing a bank and you're driving a car, they'll hit you with that one too. So those are all 6 points. All right, 4 points. Reckless operation of a motor vehicle. So I would have gotten 4 points from that one.
You didn't find 2 years later.
Yeah. Disregard for the safety of other persons or property.
So that's like driving through people's lawns.
He told me that he was going to charge me with something higher, but he brought it down to a reckless op. Oh, destruction of public property.
Why? Oh, because it was a park.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. He was going to get me with that one. So, yeah, he did me a solid.
I guess.
So I guess I did get lucky on that one.
But you didn't get anything off your license, though, either, because you did the class.
The class, so nothing ever hit my license.
That's... Did you know, actually, I was talking to Chris the other day. She said, back when you got caught for doing something, like, stupid, they would make you go watch a movie of car crashes.
Like
and they would give you food. Before they would tell you what it is. They'd, like, play, like, a normal something, and it would cut to, like, people getting, like, killed and stuff like that. What's funny is she told me that one of her brothers, like, was into watching that shit or whatever. So he was scarfing down these snacks while everyone else was throwing up, watching someone, like, getting decapitated.
Like, he's just like, oh, this is a cool movie.
Yeah, this is a cool movie.
Oh,
and he was
God.
eating it, and the cops eventually just stopped sending them there because he was enjoying it too much. And they're like, dude, you're fucking gross. Get out of here. And apparently, and I was like, you know what? That's totally doesn't doubt me that Chris is family at all. You know what I mean? That doesn't surprise me. They're weird people. But you know what? It's kind of funny, though. That is kind of funny. It's like, get fucked.
That's kind of how we were when they were showing us those, like, videos.
Like, kind of laughing at it.
Yeah.
I think you don't...
It's bad acting.
Yeah, a lot of it was bad acting, but, like... I remember attempts test-wise, they would show you a bunch of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I remember coming out of, like, just getting my license, dude. I remember it was constant 2... no, what is it?
10 and 2.
10 and 2.
Yep.
Always checking mirror, like, looking over, like, 3 times before you change lanes. I love how, like, I was fun watching myself, like, grow out of that and be like, oh, this is kind of, like, stupid. And, like, one hand on the wheel now.
Yep. Gangster lean.
Even then, like, one hand out the window.
Yep.
Just, like, nothing.
Just chilling.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't feel like it's any more, like, dangerous. I feel like it's just as safe of driving because, like, you're just, most of the time, you're just going in a straight line. And when you turn, just know that you're turning. Like,
right.
Like, you shouldn't have to be, like, grabbing the steering wheel tight as you can, eyes peeled. Like, you should be able to stay in your lane. It's, like, the only thing is you got to trust other people to do that too.
Yeah.
Like, that's the problem. Like, it's because of other people that can't figure out how to, like, turn correctly or whatever, or move or whatever. It's not usually like you. It's like if everybody can just figure out how to stay in a straight line and turn correctly, it'd be fine. But not everyone can.
I think a lot of that has to do with, like, how much cars have advanced in such a short amount of time. Because if you look at cars from the 60s,
oh my God,
I couldn't imagine driving those with one hand. Like, it's a bench seat. You're going to slide around, so you got to hold onto the wheel.
I guess that is true.
It's a big wheel, no power steering, and the alignments were dog balls.
It's true.
So if you let go of the wheel and you're not constantly doing this, you're going to be somewhere in a ditch. Nowadays, cars, you can just, like, I mean, they're like little cocoons. You can just go to sleep. You're just like... You're just
most of them will drive themselves.
Yeah, we're getting there to that point, too. So, like, one hand on the wheel?
0 hands.
0 hands.
It's kind of like weird. If you ever seen like a Tesla, I think they're the only ones that have like a self. They don't have it. They can't call it self driving because that's not legalized yet. They call it like what do they call it? What do they call it? They don't call it self driving system. What do they call it? They have a special name for it, so it's legally like it kind of works, but it only works on highways and like main roads. Obviously, it doesn't work in residentials. But that's an update they said that's coming the next year that'll work. So I'm like, in the next year, they're having it so you can put in a destination in it, and it'll literally take you there.
What is it going to do about roads that don't have, like, lines?
It doesn't need that. It knows the edges. Have you seen the Tesla system, dude? If you look at their center controls, it'll have a little screen of the center car, and it'll have what it thinks is lines. It'll scan lights. It knows if it's green, yellow, and red, too. I don't know if you know this, But here's the also thing: is like if you have like two cars next to you, if you have a car and a semi truck next to you on the screen, it'll show that car in a semi truck. And it'll show you that. It'll show you minivans, box trucks. It'll know the difference in between like a panel vans and a minivan. It'll show you each distinguish. That's how good it can identify other like cars. Like minivans and panel vans are almost really close.
Yeah, but
it knows. I'm like, wow. And it knows pickup trucks. It knows pickup trucks and everything, and it knows buses. And I'm like, that's insane. But they still have sensors in the steering wheel where you have to touch it every 20 seconds, or else it'll start flashing and it'll beep at you. And if you don't do it in another 20 seconds, it'll put the car into neutral. I can't really call it neutral. There's no like neutral. It'll call it into neutral and it'll roll to a stop. It'll pull over to like the far side and it'll go to a stop because it'll think you fell asleep or whatever, and it's like that's dangerous. It'll pull over for you.
Just sleep like this.
If you just fall asleep and glue your hands at the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what sucks is it's probably safer than people driving themselves.
People are retarded.
It's kind of like, it's almost sad that I'm saying to say this technology section that only exists in one car, like it's only one brand, not everyone else. It is probably better than most of the drivers themselves. Have you seen the video of Teslas doing predicting accidents?
No.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw these videos. It was they can predict accidents for some reason. I don't know what it was. There was this guy. He was at a red light, and behind him, all of a sudden, it started flashing, and it said "warning, back collision" something. And the car all of a sudden floored it and did like a turn out of the way, and the cameras on the side caught this car go flying through the intersection and crash into something. Like the gas pedal was stuck in this car. It had an accident predict. Like I don't know if it's true, man. I don't know if it just seems like it was true.
I would believe it.
And it had like one where it was going on the highway, and it was looking at another car that was like in another lane, like kind of next to it, but a little bit in front, and it darted over right where it would have clicked the bumper, and it said accident prediction or whatever, and it slammed the brakes and cut around the guy, so nothing happened, and the guy got off or whatever because I don't know, it was like last second getting into the exit or whatever, and it would have clipped this Tesla. I'm like, does it really have like accident prediction and stuff like that? Like it knows. Because like let's think about the computer is like 1,000 times faster than your brain can register. Yeah. This guy is cutting over in front of you. It could slam the brakes and turn the steering wheel faster than you could ever, before your brain could even blink. It would know. I'm like, I guess that makes sense. Like if a car is coming at you, it knows that in the sensors that are in it, that it knows how close it is. It's like it's gonna hit you, so it'll slam the brakes so it'll avoid it like faster than you can push the pedal. I'm like, that's a genius. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I know there's two different versions of autopilot. You can get like the high end version, which is like main roads, or you can get like the cheap version, which is standard, I think, and it just works on highways, I think. And I think they're gonna release next year all of it, like I said, even in the residential roads. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'm ready for that. Like I like the idea that you can drive if you want, but like it's an option that you can just not drive. 'Cause some days you just don't want to drive, even though a lot of the times I'm like, yeah, driving's pretty fun. But then it's like somebody like is stupid, and I'm like, wow, I fucking hate driving.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Somebody messes up, and I'm like, wow, fuck that guy. I'm tired of driving. Seems like a computer's problem to me. I feel like it's like, I trust it more than I do myself. It's so much quicker.
It'd be so nice.
Yeah, but eventually they're trying to get rid of driving entirely. And it's funny. It's like one day. There's not even gonna be like steering wheels in cars or anything. It's gonna be completely automated, and the only way to like actually drive a car is to go to like a test track. Not like you have to go, like nowadays, you can just go to a racetrack to race like race cars. Like you can rent some stuff like that, you know? Now, in the future, it'll be like just to rent a driving car. Eventually, like, sometime in the future, you know? It'll be like, nope, there's no more actual physical driving cars. You can buy one probably, but you had to take it to a track. Like the public roads or whatever.
It's just a toy.
It's a toy. It's going to be like a go-kart, and you had to take it to like a track to use. I'm like, wow, imagine.
Good thing I'm living right now.
It's like, because we already have go-karts, and you have to like go to tracks to take them. Eventually, it's like our cars that we drive now are going to be replaced of those go-karts, and those are going to become our go-karts, and the real roads are going to be for automated everything. I'm like, because like, let's be honest, like that's an absolute guaranteed future. Mm. There's no way around it. I'm just like, that's insane. Eventually, someday, like people nowadays don't know how to like drive manual or everything. Like I get it, everything's computerized. Like 98% of manufactured cars now are automatic or paddles, so it doesn't matter, I guess. So it's like, I guess it's a dying skill. So eventually, let's be honest, all the manuals are gonna die. So no one's gonna learn how to do clutch. Like I can't really say anything against it. It's hard to find a manual anyways. But it's like, that's like the thing that people are like complaining about. But like, later when this generation grows up, the next generation's not even gonna know how to like to drive. There's no need for it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna be like, you guys don't even know how to drive. Like when our complaint was no one knows how to drive clutches. So it's like that's a big jump from like switching, like complaining that someone can't drive clutch to now they can't drive at all because they don't know how to because there's no need for it.
Yeah.
I'm like that's kind of sad. That's a big jump. It's like you could still drive at least in our problem, but now it's like nope, you can't even drive at all. There's a difference in that. Like damn, it's coming up. How soon though? I don't know. It's like Teslas are close. You know what I mean? They're close.
Yeah, but that's a big switch. People really like driving.
Some people do.
So
Not
I think it's
everyone's
going to
car
stick
people.
around for a while. I don't think in our lifetime, but shortly after.
It can't be much more after, dude. I'd be surprised. Because we're starting to
I
speed
think
up.
within like 150 years.
We're speeding up the process so much.
Yeah.
Every year it's 2% increase in electric cars over gas cars, I think is what it is now, right? It's 3 or 4% now. Like it's replacing. Gases are dying now. And it's all going to be electric. It's like, if you can get the same amount of mileage out of electric, why wouldn't you? It's just better. It's better performance either way. Like even if you're a car person, as much as you love the gasoline engines and this, that, and the other, and everything, it's just like, but an electric motor that's plug in, that's it. It's more. It's like simpler. Then it's faster. It's torqueier. It makes sense. It's just basic science that the gasoline engine will be a dying breed
Oh yeah. But there's still enthusiasts that'll keep it alive.
for now.
Like I'll keep mine alive.
V8s are dying already.
Yeah.
We're moving down to smaller engines. Eventually, we're gonna just not have gasoline engines. It's gonna switch to like bigger electric motors. That's gonna be weird. The bigger engines are dying to smaller engines, and then it's gonna be smaller electric motors changing to bigger motors. It's complete opposite end of the spectrum. That's kind of fun. That's kind of not funny. But it's weird. That's already happening right now.
Yeah.
Because every brand has an electric now. Porsche does. Jaguar does. Mercedes does. There's even an AMG version of the electric, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a car version and there's an SUV. I don't remember what the names are. They all have like weird janky names. So I'm not like a big on that one.
Foreign guy, yeah.
Well, I'm a foreign guy, but I don't know the
Well-
electrics. The electrics, yeah, I'm not that big of. The Porsche is literally competing with Tesla, and I think there was a post a while ago. Elon Musk was pissed about it because he was like, it was like 0.2 seconds faster than the new Roadster that's coming out this year or next year, 21. I think it's 21. It's coming out, and he was like, well, we're gonna have bigger tires on a certain package, so it's gonna be actually a little bit quicker or whatever. I don't know what it was. He was actually he like ended up coming up with an option, I think, to make it literally 0.1 seconds faster than the Porsche that was already just 0.2 seconds faster than the base model. I'm like, you guys are really competing over like nanoseconds at this point.
Yeah.
The guys are really, because there's only so fast you can go with a car. You can't break physics, or you have to hit traction too. You can't go too much torque, or else you're just gonna slip. You can only go as fast as you can catch immediately and then go. So you want zero wheel spin and go. There's a certain limit, unless you want to start weighing the car down, and then you need more power, and eventually there's a limit. You can only cap it so far. If you have more downforce, the tires won't spin as much, but you need more power, or you can go with really light and less power, and it'll go at the same speed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you want to go lighter with like electric vehicles because the batteries, it'll drain the energy a lot faster. And I'm like, so there's only so fast you can go. So I'm like, I wonder how. I mean, obviously there's like faster like drag cars, which are going to be destroy everything else, but like those are not like street legal cars. So like how good could you get a street legal manufactured car? Because I think we're about hitting the point.
Yeah.
You can only go so
Probably
fast to spin
peaking.
these tires.
Mm-hmm.
Any faster, you're just going to get wheel spin and you're not going to go anywhere. There's a limit. Unless you're really going to break physics, unless you have like fans pulling it towards the ground and whatever. Like,
Oh yeah.
that's not. But like I said, it's not going to be viable for an electric car, which
Especially
is obviously
not something mass produced.
mass produced. It's not going to be a thing. Doesn't. I don't know if this is going to be real or not. But Elon Musk wants to put his SpaceX rocket on the back of a Tesla to make it go 250 miles an hour or something stupid like that, just to boost the speed 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 as an option. I'm like, now you have to like fill this tank up with rocket fuel and like light this thing. I don't know if it's gonna be real or not, because I know he's a funny guy, but like he might do it. You know, he's insane. He's a person like, what was it? He's like, I want to send a rocket to space. 2 months later he did. Like, it only takes 2 months. He was like, I want to build a tunnel underneath California. 2 months later he did. His boring tunnel company. You can actually go out to his like display stage out in California, where he has a big, like, it's like football fields of just space, where it's like high end suit where he goes to like show all of his new products and everything. And you go there, you can actually ride on a Tesla that goes through this tunnel on like special wheels, going like 70 miles an hour in a super small tunnel that just fits through your car. It's really cool. You just go flying into this tunnel like a mile long. It's just a test tunnel, but like it's like maybe it is gonna be underground one day. All the roads are gonna be underground. Like I guess we have subways that do that. Why not just have cars do that? I guess.
Yeah, like highways
and have
underground.
Space. Yeah, and then space, like you have more space above ground, you know, for buildings and everything else. You don't need roads, and I guess it's safer to walk around that way.
It's a lot of digging, though. I think we'd get flying cars before we got that.
I don't think flying cars are a thing. There's a couple videos that explain why flying cars won't happen.
Because people are dumb. They can't drive regular cars.
They can't stick on the ground, let alone figure it out. There's a reason why it takes like years to become a pilot.
Yeah, because there'd be so many more accidents and people would fly out of the sky.
People are stupid. They're like, oh, I'm gonna fly in straight to the ground. It'll be like they'll be drunk flying around and be stupid. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. There's a reason why that's not viable. It's like we already have planes and airplanes and everything. And what it is, airplane wise, is there's 7 different layers of altitudes that you can be at, and each plane going in a certain direction has to be on a certain level. I think that's how it goes in the control tower wise. They tell you if you're going this direction, you need to be at this height or something like that. There's like 7 different levels for different planes. Like prop planes have like 7 different levels very close to the ground, while like commercial planes are like super high up and everything. Though they have different levels up there for going directions. That's how they don't hit each other. I'm like, genius. You gotta think about how high you can go. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Like we're just living on like the smallest part of the earth, which is the ground. Think about how farther out you go, the more mass you'd have. It's bigger that way. So they have a lot more space to fly up. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, that's true. I never really thought about it like that.
Yeah, because like the smaller the circle is, the less landmass. But the atmosphere, there's so much air towards the atmosphere. If it was bigger, you'd have so much more landmass. Have you seen the real version of Earth? Have I showed you that?
No, I don't think
Earth is not a perfect circle. It's lopsided, like a weird little, like a C. Actually, the real version of Earth. It looks so weird, and people are like so disgusted with it because they think it's a perfect circle. And if you look at it, it's lumpy. It has like little bumps.
Because of mountains and stuff.
It does, yeah. It makes sense. Like, but you think of like a globe and everything. You're so used to seeing a perfect circle. It's not. It's like even from like space, it looks like a circle, but it's not. It's like a real. If you look from really far away, it's like a C. It's really janky. I'll see if I can pull it up. What is real Earth shape? Oblong sphere. It's janky. It makes me want to puke looking at this thing. Because it's like, why would you do that? Oh, yeah. That's what it is. That's what Earth looks like. I'll save this picture and put it up and everything. But it's this is what it's supposed to look. That's what it looks like from a certain angle. Obviously, different angles it looks weird. But like I said, it has the little C. That's kind of weird, huh?
That is weird.
Yeah, now you like kind of think of it like.
I don't know why they didn't show us this in school.
Yeah, it's janky. Of course, I'll put it up in the video, but it's just not right. That's what it actually is. It's like, why wouldn't they just show us this now? It doesn't mess with you. Like, man, you're so used to seeing a perfect circle. It hurts my brain. It does. It's like it's not perfect. It makes sense that it's not, because it's just Earth is just an asteroid, and it's been hit 1 billion times.
I wonder how long. Go back.
Damn.
Go back to this blue one here. Wonder if that's where like.
That's a C.
Something hit.
Oh yeah, this little curve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like if something collided.
I don't like that, man. Doesn't feel.
I think that's what it looks like. That's more realistic.
That's close enough too. Just looking at stupid fake images now, but yeah. It's not round. Yeah. That donut theory, it's in there. God, this is so stupid. Why are we looking at fake images of Earth? Oh yeah, the turtle Earth theory. Yeah, that's an actual thing, turtle Earth theory, where the shell of the turtle is actually carrying the Earth. I think they know it's not, but I think they just have it as like they make a lot of cool art out of it. If you actually look at like back in old Windows 7, there used to be a theme where you could have one of these, and it was like really well drawn. And it was like built onto the back of it and had like cities on it. It looked pretty nice. Of course, no one knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but it's great. Back when they had different themes you could have. Perfect. That's just weird. But yeah, Earth, it's not perfectly round. It's janky.
That broke my head a little bit.
I don't understand. People are like disgusted. It's not perfectly circle. It's like, but like, why? Nothing's perfectly circle. It's impossible to make something perfectly circle. Maybe there is something out there perfectly circle. Maybe like it's been a computer made, laser cut, perfection.
But even still, that's only.
Even then, like you touch it too hard, it's gonna indent it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? Like, it's almost so close to perfect.
I thought I saw a video on it one time, like the world's roundest object.
The world's most perfect round object. Yeah, that's hard to do though. You gotta admit, like any kind of anything with touching it would mess it up. That's cool though.
They say it's a perfect sphere.
Yeah, it's actually a perfect sphere.
Supposedly the world's roundest object.
Weird. That's pretty cool though. That's really cool. Can't go wrong with that. That is janky.
They say it's used to define the kilogram.
I know what you're talking about. It weighs perfectly a kilogram.
Yeah.
So they weigh it every year to measure what. Because like, here's the thing, what's keeping track of what weighs perfectly a kilogram? You know what I mean? Like it's they use it as like the base.
All unit of measurement is
all use. Yeah, that's what they use. Because like if everyone didn't like, what if everyone just started saying that like 2 pounds is 1 pound and whatever, like who's in like you just like people start saying that, what's the official count? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They use that circle to measure it as the base, so like nobody can like mess with it. That's what 1 kilogram is. That 1 kilogram. That's what it's equal to. It's equal to everything else. I think they have a couple copies of it, don't they? Just to keep them all equal, so they know that's what a kilogram is. Because if that changes, you know, everything starts going out of balance. But it's weird to think about. But that's like only if people all started denying it. Like, but everyone's going like, I don't think everyone's that stupid yet.
No.
Then again, we do have people who are like flat Earth theory and are serious about it. Like I think people like, I always thought it was a joke at first, and I heard it for months, and I didn't realize people were actually serious. Yeah. They actually thought it was like flat, and I was like, didn't you like learn this in like elementary school, like how it was proved and whatever?
But then you can be one of those conspiracy theorists and say like, well, they're just teaching you what they want you to know.
Have you seen the videos of flat earthers proving themselves wrong?
No. Dude,
there's this guy. He had these 2 circles in a perfectly even board, and he had one set up like 5 miles away in the desert or whatever, like far. And he had a laser go through it. Theoretically, the laser is going straight through the center hole, and if it was flat, it would go straight through the other hole at the other one because it's evenly placed in flat land. They're measured up high and everything. But if it off the ground or whatever, he said if there was a curve of the I can't remember the degree of the Earth.
It's like 18 degree or something like that.
Whatever, yeah, you know the round, round certain areas of it, even though it's not perfectly round, but majority of it was. He's like it should go through that hole perfectly, and he had someone on the other side holding up like a light receiver, whatever, and he had the laser go through it, and he was like FaceTiming him. He was looking at it. He's like, I don't see the light, and he like moved it up where it would be facing down, so it would make sense, or so it would, the curvature wise, it would go down, so it would hit it. So he pulled it up high, and it lit up the other side, proving it was curved. He's like, and also the person has the gyroscopic. It's like a top. It's like a computerized top, and it should spin, and it's perfectly balanced and like motored that it should stay as put, but it would move over to the side over time because they were spinning, and it would push it or whatever it is. He's like it would keep going forever, and it would move if the Earth was moving, and if it was flat or whatever the curve, it should make a circle after an entire day. And it did. It made a perfect circle after an entire day, going around like drawing on a piece of paper this spinning top. And he's like, oh, that's because the Earth spins or whatever. It's perfectly round. And he's like, oh, there's a lot of those, and I think it's so funny. And it's like, you guys proved yourself wrong like every way to prove it. Like I don't know how you can like
still try to believe that. You just can't.
I get you understand, like you think that people are hiding information from you, but it's like, what does that information prove? Like, what is that going to help you? Even if it was like flat, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Like, oh, I was right, it's flat. It's like, okay, so what?
What do you win?
What do you win? You want a cookie?
Yeah.
What is like? It's not really benefit
you. I'll clap for you, but like,
but you don't get anything. It's not like it's like
nothing changes.
It's not like there's prize money to prove that it's wrong or whatever. It's not like
right. You still got to go to work.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything. It's like, why are you wasting your time on something that's not going to change? It's like even like you've like. Check this.